Hey, what's going on, guys? I want to ask a quick question. Is anybody familiar? Are you familiar with something called the Modesto Manifesto? The Modesto Manifesto is something that I heard secondhand as a 21 or 20-year-old kid, and we had when I wrestled in northeastern Oklahoma, we had a mentor of ours. He was 13, 14 years older than us. He was going to school, going back to school, getting his degree, yada, 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 for work. And he had like a home gym and all that stuff. So good friend of mine, kind of a ministry leader. And he had told us, we said, hey man, what's one of the things that you could give us advice? Because we saw, he's got a wife, bunch of kids, like, beautiful home, beautiful family. And one of the things that he told us, and I didn't know what it was actually called until maybe a couple years ago. And he said, don't ever be alone with another woman. And I really took that to heart as a young man. I was like, what? Don't ever be alone when you're married, in the context of being married, sorry. And I remember thinking, wow, what an interesting thing to do that seems very countercultural, but when you hear it, it makes so much sense. Now, this thing that he laid out for us was something called the Modesto Manifesto. And the Modesto Manifesto was something that in Modesto, California, when the Billy Graham Crusades were going on, they had a pact that they would not ever be alone or in the same room alone with another woman. And I just think that as a married man, as a guy trying to be above reproach, as somebody trying to, especially in today's day and age, man, like trying to stay out of any kind of, controversy. This is by far one of the best ways to live your life. This is something that I practice as a married man. I can honestly say outside of a very short professional setting, and very mitigated, I don't think I've ever been alone with another female other than my wife. Obviously if you go to the gym and to lift or whatever, somebody might be there, but that's not what I consider alone. That is, that's a different context. I'm talking about intentionality. I've never trained a woman. I've never coached a private lesson for a woman. Not saying that I wouldn't or I couldn't, but there is a boundary there that is a very thin line when you're doing that. I know guys that do it and they do it just fine. Personally, for me, I've been a wrestling coach. I currently coach wrestling at a Jiu-Jitsu gym. I've never done that myself. Now, where I'm going with this is a line that I have seen time and time and time, man after man after man cross, and it generally never ends well. Now, speaking on the Andre Galvao situation, I don't know the whole situation. I don't know what's happened. I don't know what the allegations are. I don't know how many women have come out. What I have heard and what is alleged that I've heard is that, and the story that I'm gathering is that Andre had a coaching relationship with a young girl, and there was probably one-on-one or a lot of things that maybe would toe that line of inappropriate, and just not being above reproach in the sense that and this is one thing I always wanted to do, is I never wanted to be in a situation with a female or a young girl where it was her word against mine. And I think that's where this all stems from, is you always want another witness there, to make sure that things maintain in check, because you just never know, right? And, we've seen it time after time where guys get accused. It sounds like that boundary wasn't in place, or at least was loosely adhered to. And I even heard that the girl had told his wife. So for a little backstory, if you don't know, Andre Galvao is being accused of grooming and having inappropriate sexual contact. I don't know if he's ever had sexual relationships with any of these women that are coming out. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Within the Jiu-Jitsu community, Andre is a legend. My coach actually faced him. My coach Robert Drysdale actually beat him at ADCC in the absolute division. And he beat Marcelo Garcia, by the way, as well. But this all stems from what I would imagine is a lack of boundaries, and a young girl turning into a young woman, and him not having those proper boundaries in place. And, you know, things happen. I'll leave it at that. Things are said. Words are interpreted a different way, potentially, if I'm giving, you know, the benefit of the doubt, and it's someone's word against another person's. Now, if you know Andre, doesn't look like the typical 45-year-old. So there's a sense that maybe this is a pattern. And yeah, it's unfortunate. It's disgusting if it's true. But yeah, it looks like what he did was groom a young girl, and it's not good. And I've intentionally avoided any situations like that to the best of my ability. Like when I'm coaching, I know other guys that do the same, because you just never, like, not that it's a temptation, but you just never want to put yourself in that situation. And as a parent, you should be very cautious. Like, yes, Andre is an amazing coach. Andre is an amazing competitor. But as a parent, you have to be very cautious about men and their motives and their desires and their temptations and their shortcomings and their shortfalls and all these things. When you're thinking about having your daughter or your children work with somebody on a one-on-one relationship. And I think there's an irresponsibility there that can come on the parent's end if those things are happening. There's no way that I could have a daughter, a 15, 16, 17-year-old daughter, and leave her alone with another man to do jiu-jitsu. Now, I don't know if that's what happened. I'm not putting any blame, but I'm just saying these are things that do happen and that need to be addressed, and proper boundaries need to be put in place. So it's good that these things are coming out. It's good that there's, you know, an exposing of it. It seems like the last few videos I've done have been about these types of topics. But I think it all goes back to that Modesto Manifesto. You don't want it to ever be one person's word against another's. And you shouldn't be alone with a woman if you're a man, if you're married.